start with a brief meditation. Okay. Let's say the back, neck, and head straight. Start with breathing practice. Left hand in Chin Mudra, that is the thumb and index finger touching. The rest of the fingers opened up. Using right hand, right thumb, close your right nostril and inhale through the left nostril. And close your left nostril, exhale and inhale back on the right nostril. Close your right nostril, exhale and inhale back on the left. And close your left nostril, exhale and inhale back on the right. Close your right nostril, exhale and inhale back on the left. Close your left nostril, exhale and inhale back on the right. Close your right nostril, exhale and inhale back on the left. Close your left nostril, exhale and inhale back on the right. Hands down. Now we are going to do vertebra clearance. Inhale from the base of your spine to the top of your head. Exhale back to the base of the spine. Inhale to the top of your head. Exhale to the base of the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now, don't control the breath. Just move your thoughts from the base of the spine to the top of your head. Top of your head. Base of the spine. Top of your head. Base of the spine. Top of your head. base of the spine. Be blessed by the divine atmosphere around us is being filled with divine energy. Experience the waves and waves of divine energy descending through us. We are experiencing divine energy descending through us. We are being engulfed, surrounded with this divine energy. Let this divine energy protect us, guide us, and lead us in today's session. இறை வணக்கம். Salutations to God in Tamil. எல்லாம் வல்ல தெய்வம் அது, எங்கும் உள்ளது நீக்கமற. சொல்லால் மட்டும் நம்பாதே, சுயமாய் சிந்தி தெளிவாய். வல்லாய் உடலில் இயக்கம் அவன், வாழ்வில் உயிரில் அறிவும் அவன். கல்லார் கற்றார் செயல் விளைவாய், காணும் இன்ப துன்பம் அவன். அவனின் இயக்கம் அணுவாற்றல், அணுவின் கூட்டு பக்குவம். அவன் மேல் தான் நீ உன்னில் அவன். அவன் யார் நீ யார் இது ஏது? அவன் நீ ஒன்றாய் அறிந்த இடம், அறிவின் முழுமை அது. Salutations to God in Tamil. அறிவேதான் தெய்வம் என்றார் தாய்மானார். அகத்ததுதான் மெய்ப்பொருள் என்று எடுத்து காட்டினார் திருவள்ளுவர். அவ்வறிவுதனை அறிவதற்கு முறைகள் சொன்னார் திருமூலர். அவ்வறிவு ஆழ்ந்து ஆனந்த கவியாத்தார் ராமலிங்கம். அறிவில் அறிவாய் நிலைத்து நின்றோர், அறமுகத்தோர் அதை வாழ்ந்து காட்டினோர் நினைவு கூறுவோம். Salutations to Mother. Bring your mother in front of your eyes and seek her blessings. Salutations to Father. Salutations to Guru Vedatri Maharishi. We are going to learn a practice very dear to him. Let's seek his guidance so that we shall experience whatever he intended us to learn. Ajna, experienced practitioners, witness your life energy between the eyebrows. Newcomers, just witness your breath. blessed by the divine. Let's spread this meditative energy all over the body. Your body and soul be purified and blessed. With the grace of this divine energy, we shall enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, prosperity, peace, and happiness. With the grace of this divine energy, we shall enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, prosperity, peace, and happiness. With the grace of this divine energy, we shall enjoy good health, long life, enough wealth, wisdom, prosperity, peace, and happiness. Let's once again bless ourselves that we shall get all the aspects of Kayakalpa Yoga so that we can get it done perfectly today. Or look at mind. Let's raise our hands above our head. Take a deep breath. Open your eyes to your palms and spread the excess energy all over your body. All over. Alright. Welcome everyone to the Kayakalpa Yoga session today. We're going to have the session in English. Okay. So let's start the program with a small experiment. Right? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's keep our palms closer. Okay, just think between the palms. Think between the palms. Right? Now, keep your left palm fixed and slightly move your right palm back and front. Slowly move back and front. Keep one palm fixed and move the other palm back and front. Keep the left palm fixed, then make like a circle. Close your eyes and then just witness between your palms. Okay, you can open your eyes now. Is anybody able to feel anything between your palms? Some little force of attraction or something? Think. Rajesh, little tickling. What do you think? You're feeling some?
There's a little kind of pressure, like.
Little pressure, a little.
When I was
like
bringing closer, that time I could feel some.
Okay, make a note of how it feels. Our goal for the day today is, if you've not felt anything, by the end of the day, you should be able to feel something. Right? So how many of you did not feel anything? Karen? Rohan? Shankar? Okay, yeah, expected. If you have felt something, whatever you felt should be stronger. Okay, that is our goal for today. Okay, let's figure out what that is. So it felt like a little attractor and repulsion, right? If you keep two pods, earpods, and if you keep them closer and bring them out, you feel a same reaction. Okay? Basically, there is a magnetic force, and that is repelling and attracting. Same way, in the body, there is a magnetic force that is repelling and attracting. Okay? All we are going to study today or learn today is about this factor. Okay? A lot of question marks than clarity, right? Okay, let's go more into the basics. All right. So today we are going to learn something called Kayakalpa Yoga. Okay? How many of you read the book? What is Kayakalpam?
Kaya is body.
Kaya is body. Kalpa means immortal. Kaya means body. Kalpa means immortal. Right? Basically, they're saying that body, keep the body immortal. Have you ever seen come across a condition where body is immortal? So bodies will get decomposed, right? All of you eat meat?
No.
No? You don't eat meat? Okay, fine. Yeah. So if you keep chicken outside, cut chicken outside, or vegetables, cut vegetable outside, what will happen after 5-6 days? Start getting decomposed, and you start seeing maggots. Okay? The nature of the body will get decomposed. Okay? And they say immortal, what they mean is it will never decompose at all. Seems not believable, right? There are instances of this. Okay? In Tamil, people from South, they are known about Jiva Samadhi. Right? And very recently, there are some examples where they were excavating a location. Right? When they excavated, they found somebody was sitting, and they found that it was supposed to be a samadhi of some siddha over there for 150 years. This happened in Bayarea, and almost 3-4 months back. The body is not decomposed, just like this. Okay? And not just in South, there are also in Goa and all. In other places, there are some people or saints, after they die, the body will not decompose. Right? There is something unique in there. Right? So we're going to find out what they did, and how that can be of any use to us. Right? Still doesn't make sense why we need to learn about this, right? Yeah. So what happened is, Bayarea Maharishi, he started in 1960s, 1945 to 60s. He learned about this meditation. He learned about Kundalini meditation, and he started to go and teach to a lot of people. He thought when everybody is doing meditation, everybody is aware of their life energy, they will not out of their will go and cause harm to other people. So he wanted to go and teach meditation to everyone. Right? Like most business use cases, you start with a very high passion, very high goal, then you go out in the market, you figure out that what the market needs is completely entirely different. Okay? People are coming to sessions, they want to learn yoga, meditation, but what people wanted is, they are coming up with some, they need some solution for their ailments. Everybody is having some kind of health issues, right? Either stomach upset issues or diabetic kind of issues, right? And most of the people are not even able to sit for 30 minutes, right? Then how can we do meditation, right? So we thought, okay, fine, we need to come up with some method that is sure it will work for anyone. It should help any kind of problem. It should help in curing any kind of disease, right? And it should be definitely working. And it should be simple enough so that anybody can do it. Right? So he started digging into it. Right? What helped him is his background in Siddha medicine. He was a trained Ayurveda and Siddha practitioner. Right? He himself is a Siddha practitioner first, then only he became a teacher of meditation yoga. And then he started reading all these manuscripts in palm scripts. Right? Then in that, there are some references about certain practice. When they do it, they say that you can live longer. You can live healthily. Right? All across, there were some references. There are some references in Tulgapiyam, which is written in 600, 6th century, 600 AD. Right? And in that, there were some references to, Tirumural's Tirumandiram, that was written in 600. Right? And then in Siddha medicine, the very first written Siddha medicine is a ancient tradition form of medicine technique. Right? In that, around in 600 period, there are some references about a particular practice called Kayakalpam. When you do it, you can live longer. It was written, and there was also references to Agastya. Right? Agastya is another sage or siddha. Siddha or sage are people who have gone through or who have mastered the physical and spiritual world. Right? And then there further, when you go into reference, in Tirukural also saying something. In Davam, in the 9th Tirukural, he was saying about the practice. When you do it, you can live longer. This is 1,000 years back. Sorry, 2,000 years back. 2,000 years back. 3 BC or 4 BC. Even further down, in Agasthyam also, there are some references about a practice, how we can do it. Right? And what they found and what they did is what we are going to learn today. So the practice, what we are going to learn, is derived from something called Lambika Yoga. I was telling about it yesterday. Right? Which is basically, in those ancient days, the sages or the siddhas, they are practicing a technique so that they can retain the energy in the body so that the body will not decompose. Right? So basically, they are following a technique used by hibernating animals. Right? Hibernating animals, they go into a cave, bear, frog, snake, and all. They go into a cave or into a hiding spot. When the food is not there in winter, they use this technique and go into hibernation. Right? And then the body will not, without any food, you can live. Right? But the issue with that is, when you're doing that, you are, they will forget the sensation of body itself, and then they are not able to wake up at all. That became an issue with Jiva Samadhi folks. Right? So from there, he found out, okay, fine, there is a risk with this, and what we can do and how we can eliminate that risk, he came out for and derived Kayakalpam. Right? And this practice is very, very, very powerful. And the thing is, they are not teaching it to anyone. It is taught only to someone who is getting qualified. Or it is very, let's say, someone who has been there in the Gurukula or in the system for years. After, when they completely qualified, only then they are teaching it. Right? And then when Vedatri Maharishi found out that what is that makes someone to qualify, and he was trying to teach that, trying to simplify that and make it. Right? This practice, he contained everything into 3 days course. Put that into the content into 3 hours course, and then made it into a package. Right? Now, if I call you for a 3-day course, none of you will come. Right? So, what we have done is we have compressed it even further. Right? So, for a 3-minute practice, making you sit for 3 hours and teaching you the basics, nobody will come. So we have contained it even further to deliver that in 3 hours. Right? So what is very important is the next 3 hours, unless you listen clearly, unless you make sure that you get it 100% right, you will not be able to do it correctly. Okay? The practice is very, very powerful, very, very powerful. You notice the difference once you start doing it. Right? But to do it correctly, you need to know what each step involves. If you miss a single step, you will not be able to get it. Okay? So our modus operandi for the next 3 hours is, if you have any question or if you don't get anything, just stop it and ask me. Right? My responsibility is to make sure that you get it crystal clear. Right? We are at Sky. We are all volunteers, and we get, it's what makes us happy is when you get the right thing and you get benefited. Okay, so feel free to stop me at any point. Feel free to stop me at any point and make sure you get it very, very clear. Okay, any questions, feel free to stop me. Okay, all right, so with that, let's get into the core of the program. All right. Okay, now, what is this?
Flower, vibhuti.
Flower. Right? Goduma. Okay, so if I do like this, it falls down, right? It doesn't fall over. Like this, in the body, we have tiny, tiny cells. Okay? How come the cells are not falling apart? In the body, we have cells. The body is made up of cells. We know that. Right? Do you see that body just falls apart? Why does the body doesn't fall apart?
The cells are held together by something.
The cells are held together, should be held together by something. Like this one, right? This is the same flower. This is the same flower, right? It is held together by the force of attraction of water. The water in it attracts with the other molecules and hold it into a shape. Like that, something is holding the cells together. And there should be some force. In science, we call it as weak forces. Right? The exact characteristics of that is, we call it as a biomagnetic force. Right? Between the cells, same cells, and then with the skeleton, and all together, they are held together in position. Okay? We call it as biomagnetic force. Okay? Right? So the extent of this force is what we saw between our palms. Right? If you go and take a scan, MRI scan or ECG scan, what you see is the energy. Along with it, there will be, right? And that will also have a magnetic signature. The same thing is there all over the body. Right? Okay.
Visualize பண்ணாததுக்கு
Customer. Okay. So in the body we have cells. In the body we have cells. All the cells are held together in position by a magnetic force. So okay, let's define this cell force called biomagnetic force. Okay. I'm going to define biomagnetism as the energy currency of the body. Okay. Biomagnetism is the energy currency of the body. So, in the body, we have every cell, right? And what does each cell do? Why do you need to have cells? Why do you need to have cells in the body? What is the role of each cell?
Create energy.
Create energy. Okay. Yeah. Fundamentally, it's about creating energy. And how does it work? So where does it get the energy from? Food we eat, right? So if we break it down to small parts, fundamentally, every cell, the role or work every cell does is get some input. From there, break it down and absorb the nutrients and eliminate the waste. Okay? To get something, to move something in, some work needs to be done. Okay? And fundamentally, there is some force of attraction. And fundamentally, in each cell, there is a small force of attraction. Right? And that force of attraction, I'm going to call as biomatter force. At the very fundamental level. At each cell level, for each cell to work, the force it exerts is the biomatter force. Okay? Any disagreement?
So the cell to get that biomagnetic force, it needs input, right? So without input,
That is coming from food.
From
That's
the
coming
food.
from
So if you supply it something, it will always have that.
Okay, awesome. I think you are asking some very good question like this. Let's see, how does it work? Right? Let's say this is our body. Okay? This is our body. And how do we get this input? What are the ways in which we get energy?
Oxygen, air through air.
Air. Then
Food and water.
food,
Mental thoughts to work.
water,
Heat, maybe sunlight.
to be little heat. Sunlight is also heat, right? In different ways, we get energy. And food is a major source. Okay? You get all this, and if you don't eat food, then you'll know the difference. And food is a major source. Okay? These are the ways in which we get input energy to the body. Okay? And how do we spend this energy? We're using thoughts, right? Do we get energy from thoughts or do we spend energy from thoughts?
Expense.
Both ways.
Both ways. Okay, tell me an example how you get energy from thoughts.
Like you have good thoughts, like if you're going to, you think like, oh, today I'm going out, so it's a good thing that you're going to do. So you get more energy to do that thing. If you're like thinking, oh, I have to do this, then your energy level is
Okay, so what you're saying is positive emotions and negative emotions. Emotions.
Yeah.
Right? You feel like you are feeling good, right? But fundamentally, there is some work done in the brain, right? There's some work done in the brain. Whenever you're spending some work, there is an energy expense, isn't it? Then how else we spend energy?
Walking,
Maybe
sleeping,
do physical activities.
Physical activities or work, right? Physical activity, work. Then, how else we spend energy? How else we expense energy?
Even sitting down expends energy.
Yeah, sitting down expends energy. Right? How else? Okay, let's come back to that. You're not thinking, you're not having any emotions, you're not doing any work, just sitting down. Will you still expense energy?
Yes. Even
Why?
when sleeping, we expense, right?
Body parts are
Body is healing, right?
Body is working, right? Body is working. Okay? So we call that as metabolism. Metabolism is, even if you don't do anything, your poor heart needs to work to pump the blood to all the parts in the body. And the kidney has to continue to filter the blood. Lungs has to continue to take the air. Right? Metabolism consumes highest amount of energy. Right? And then afterwards, it is the parts. Right? And somebody was saying about sleep. In sleep, are we getting energy or losing energy?
You're losing energy because the cells are getting repaired when you're sleeping. Body has to.
Nice. What is happening when you wake up? But after you wake up from sleep,
You feel more energy.
you feel more energetic, right? It doesn't work out. Right?
So cells are now repaired and now they're energetic. So during the day, they again in the sleep, they build up.
Something is happening. Okay. So what is probably happening is in the body continuously for metabolism. Let's say we have for the lungs, heart, and kidney to function. Let's say you need 70 units of energy is required. Okay. And now I have 100 units of energy in the body. Right? 100 units of biomagnetism is there in the body. And for all the activities, physical activities which I do, done. And whenever I think, some energy is being spent, biomagnetism is spent. And at a point, it slowly comes down, right? When this 70, so this is required to keep us alive, say 60%. And now I'm at 70. So now I'm at 100 initially at the day. And every work I do, slowly, it gets down and down and down. At the point when it reaches 60, what is bare minimum required for us to keep the body alive? At that point, right, the body has a choice whether to keep the brain active or keep the lungs and heart active. Right? Given a choice, at least we want to be live, right? We want to live than thinking further. So that's what is sleep is. Right? So you turn off one of the organs. Just brain, no thoughts. Some reparation is done, but still, all through the day, we ate the food, and the food is getting digested. From there, energy is getting absorbed. So slowly, more and more energy is getting built up in the body. Right? And when it reaches sufficient level, it will automatically get woken up. Right? That framework makes sense? What do you think, Karan? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to eat taps. Okay, so it's a kind of framework. Let's think through it. We'll see everything getting connected though. Right? All these theories, right, I'm trying to communicate as exactly what Bayarea Maharshi has communicated. Right? And these people, and these great saints or great philosophers, when they go into that fundamental level, right, absolute level, they whatever they talk, whatever they say, right, seems to be true. From outside, it is very difficult for us to immediately accept it. But then when you go back and experience what they have experienced, it seems like it might be true. Right? So first, let's try to experience, right? Get the basics. Then let's try to experience what they have experienced. Okay. All right. Now we saw what is happening with respect to sleep. We saw what is with respect to happening to sleep and why we wake up. Okay. One major contribution here with respect to the thoughts. Right. So this thing which you can very easily see. If you are up in the night, right? If you're up in the night, maybe around if you're not sleeping until 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, the next day morning, you feel like stomach is not digested enough. The food is not digested enough. Have you felt it? Huh? No, Ilya. நான் முடிச்சதே இல்லை அப்படிங்கிறீங்களா? இல்லை நான் முடிச்சிருக்கேன்.
Maybe it's become my practice of 2 o'clock is normal for me, so maybe my body is biological clock has turned off.
The biological clock doesn't turn
No,
on.
if you eat late and you sleep late, then you might feel that.
Oh, if you eat early and then the body is already absorbed.
Observed and it's digested, you're not
Enough?
gonna
You
feel
don't
that.
feel that.
Logical. Maybe
If you
it's
sleep
that.
at 11 o'clock, if you eat at 11 o'clock and
Yeah.
sleep at 2 o'clock, then probably you might feel it that way.
Maybe that's what's happening.
What they say is between 11 to 4, right, the digestive organs, especially liver, gallbladder, those organs. So the energy will be distributing to the digestive organs. All throughout the day, there will be a complete flow of biomedicine in the body, but between 11 to 4, these organs get most amount of energy. Right? And you can see that those who have learned simplified physical exercises, right? You should have noticed that. Before going to sleep in the night, if you do 14-point acupressure and then go to sleep, the next day you wake up earlier. You will wake up much earlier, at least 1 to 2 hours earlier, you will not get woken up. Because what is happening is, when you do 14-point acupressure, you are distributing the energy to the lungs, liver, and all the digestive organs. So that energy absorption, that work which needs to be done, gets done already, or very quick in doing the process. Hence, that saves time there. Right? I don't know about this eating early and waiting for the digestion and then keeping it out. But my sister used to do this, right? And she used to cook very well, right? And used to warn her again and again and again. Eventually, that became a habit, and she ended up having 2 gallbladder issues. Right? So generally, if we are up for a longer time, you might see into some digestive issues. You might have seen some.
After eating food, if you are awake for a longer time.
11 to 4, you need to sleep.
Okay.
11 to 4, you need to be sleeping. At least 12 to 4. At least 12 to 4. Right? That 4 hours, you do that. If it becomes habitual, eventually something might. You need to be watchful about. You need to be watchful about your digestive organs. If you're not sleeping that, right? That generally happens. Right? So let's be a little more careful there. Or if you know that 14-point acupressure, please be consistent in that. Do the corrective actions so that we don't fall into the pitfalls. Right? Okay, so that is one thing. Right? So how else we lose biomedicine? We saw that during metabolism, what is happening, right? And then thoughts. What are thoughts?
Anything which runs in your head.
Anything which runs in your head. Anything runs in your head. Okay, where does it? Where do we get input to the head?
What we read, what we see.
Basically, based on some perception, right? Based on some perception, whatever we perceive, that's what is becoming as thoughts. Some sensory perception is becoming as thought. Now, what is perception?
How you view things.
No. What is sensory perception? That's what is becoming as thought, right?
Anything that affects. Anything that affects.
Anything is affects, yeah.
Positive or negative.
So Viratra Maharshi defines sensory perception as the elevation or the increase in the energy level in the biomedicine level in the body is what he perceives as. And the increase in biomedicine level from expenditure from a sensory organ is what we call as sensory perception is. Let's try to perceive what that is, what that means. Okay? Let's see, let's find something. Sundara is feeling very sleepy. Let's catch him. Right, so what is your favorite food? Or favorite sweet? Let's keep your favorite sweet. Halwa, right? You know what is halwa is?
Mhm.
Oh, you know it?
Yeah,
Really?
that's good.
So that's not fair.
It's really hard not to eat the whole pan.
Alright, so let's say you are tasting the first halwa, right? How does it taste? Very sweet and tasty.
Sweet and creamy.
Sweet and creamy.
Crispy and creamy at the same time.
Crispy and sweet. Probably you're looking at jalebi then. Okay, so the first sweet will be sweet. The first savory, when you put it in your mouth, it will be tasty, very sweet. Okay. Now, if you have the same thing, the second or the third one, will that be as sweet as the first one?
Depending on the sweet level.
Depending on the
Very,
sweet
very
level.
sweet.
If you're
Tegattirum, nariya saapidum.
yeah, after the third or fourth ones, right? Why does it saturate? If sweetness is the property of the sweet, then the fifth sweet should be as sweet as the first one. Right? It's all made with the same ingredients in one batch. Right? If sweetness is the property of the tongue, it's the same tongue. Then the first sweet should be as sweet as the fifth sweet. Right? Then what is causing sweetness?
Chemical reaction between the receptors in your tongue.
Some chemical reaction.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So there is some interaction or some thing happening. So even in that chemical reaction, fundamentally there is some energy exchange
Mind.
happening. Some energy exchange happening. It's the same mind, right? So what is mind then? Okay. So what is fundamentally happening is let's use the same graph. Since I don't have a duster, let me quickly find what the paper is.
Can you use the restroom in between? or
Sure. Only தண்ணி தான் குடிக்கக்கூடாது.
தண்ணி தான் குடிக்கணும்.
Okay, so let's say by default in our tongue we have 60 units of biomagnetism. By default, the flow is in 60 units, right? At the point of contact with the sweet, the tongue, there is an interaction happening. So the energy level at the sensory organ increases to 40 units. Okay. That increase, that elevated state is what we sense as perception. Okay. Since now it is already raised to a level, the default level on the tongue would be around 80 now. Say for example. Okay. Now when you come in contact with the next sweet, the increase in level is only 80 to 100 is only 20 units or 20%. Right? So that's why it becomes a little less sweeter. Right?
Can't say less sweeter. You don't feel like
You don't feel it. And I'm trying to quantify what is that,
quantified.
what is that feeling is, and trying to relate that, feel what you feel as sweetness with biomagnetism. There is a chemical reaction which is happening, and it is getting saturated. And fundamental to any chemical reaction, in a reaction, there is an exchange or something which is happening. And to make something to move, there should be some force. And fundamentally, there is a magnetic force. Okay?
Sometimes when you start eating chocolate, you don't feel like stopping. You just eat until you finish the pack. So
Your energy levels are increasing.
it is slowly getting increased. But how many packets you can go like this? Since you have one packet,
okay.
Right?
Okay. After a few, you just tend
you
to-
still get to saturate, right?
You can't keep
And
going.
at a point when the energy level, the biomagnetism expenditure at the sensory organ is in par with the biometabolism of the food. And that once it is in par, you don't feel like having any more. And if you insert further down in your throat, then what will happen? You start throwing up. You're like, dude, I cannot handle this myself. What do you start throwing back? Right? So, do you agree that sensory perception is a function of increase in biomagnetism level at the or elevation of biomagnetism to be in line with the object of perception is perception. Okay? எழுச்சி நிலை அதாவது என் தமிழ் சொன்னா ஜீவகாந்தத்தின் எழுச்சி நிலை that extension of the biomagnetism to that level is what we see as perception. This is basically a fundamental, very fundamental law of physics. Right? Anything which we perceive, you're always trying to find into a balance. If two forces, same medium, if they come into contact, right, they will try to balance with each other. They try to come to a level of equilibrium. That's a fundamental rule of nature. And we are applying that, we are seeing that, using that with respect to sense of perception. You can see the same thing with respect to hearing. You can see the same thing with respect to smelling, seeing, and everything. If you watch a movie, initially it will be good, but then eventually you start to feel like a saturation. After a point, if you watch continuously watching movies, finally you start seeing your eyes cannot handle any further. Right? I was trying to explain the same thing to my wife, and she did not agree. Then I asked her, right? Okay, now when you are awake, your mouth, your all the senses are open. When you go back to sleep, your mouth is closed. You don't perceive anything. Okay, your eyes are closed. You don't see anything. Okay, but your ears are still open, right? But the ears are still open, and your nose is still open. Why you don't see the perception of smell or sound?
Because it's all processed by your brain.
Processed by the brain. And
your brain is asleep doing something else.
And we saw that earlier, the energy flow to the brain is cut off during that time. Right? The energy flow to that is cut off during that time. Right? So you don't see the perception. At the sensory organ level, even though there is some extension, right? From there the information is traveled through the nerves to the brain, and it is not being processed. Right? The same thing happens when we are trying to listen. Brain activity is a much bigger activity. Right? So what makes
How do you say? Because even when you're sleeping at
Yes.
night, when you hear a very loud voice, your body wakes up.
That's a flight or fright response. If you hear a loud noise and if you're still awake, then that means something serious. Right? That's a security issue.
No, but if you say,
See, the security elements in the body are kept alive, which is like lungs, heart, kidney, adrenal glands. Security functions are alive.
no, but you're saying your brain is gone into
It's not completely turned off. Right?
Subconscious.
If it is completely turned off, that means you're in coma. That also happens when you go to a very, very deep sleep. Very, very deep sleep. We do that in meditation. Okay. We were going through the thought and listenings. When you're listening something, what is happening? You are paying attention. Paying attention is spending energy to pay attention. So what is making Sundar to feel drowsy?
Because I didn't sleep properly yesterday.
Feel drowsy yesterday, and before going to sleep, you also did not do 14-point acupressure.
Probably vaguely.
So what is happening there? Why do we after eating heavy food, we go to the class, feel sleepy? Right? It happens, right?
Yes.
Whatever energy flows there, more than required work is being spent for, right? And you don't have enough energy to, like, whatever this guy is talking. Okay, I don't care. First I need to keep the body function. Something is put in, the poor body has to process it. Right? You cannot put a strike over there. Right? So this is with respect to thoughts. Okay, we saw the relationship between one part of mind and how that is related with biomechanism. Okay. We saw how the body is related with biomechanism, how mind is related with biomechanism. We saw. Okay. Some questions? Yeah. All right. So what else is there? These are the ways through which, through metabolism, we are leaking water. This is metabolism, and through thoughts, we're leaking water, and then physical activity work, we are leaking water. Then emotions. Emotions is one very interesting item. Right? When you feel, when you're having some emotions, you feel energetic,
Positive or negative.
positive or negative. Okay, but still, there is a drain, right? Whatever. Even if you keep laughing, at a point you still get tired. Right? That's okay. But the problem is when you get angry. Right? When you get angry, what happens? Have you felt it? When you get angry, your heart starts beating faster. I felt it. And after a while, you're going to notice that head is getting heated up.
The blood rush to your head.
Blood rush to your head. Right? There is another theory. Whenever there is an expense of energy through a medium, it will get heated up. Right? When there is a higher amount of current or energy flowing through a conductor, it starts getting. The same thing happens with magnetic flow as well. Right? When there is an expense, outflow of energy from one medium, you start heating up. What exactly happens is, when you get angry, what is happening is you wanted something to happen, right? You desired something, okay? But there is a blockage to that. There is somebody is thoughting, somebody is stopping, okay? Or there is a hindrance to that, a hindrance to what you want to achieve. To get past that hindrance, the body give a blast of energy so that you can get over that and get positive, right? ஆசை தலை வரும்போது, whenever there is a hindrance to your thought, desire, right? The sudden burst of energy, biomatic energy, to get past that hindrance, that act is anger. Right? You would have felt it. So what is happening in this tank? There is water. Suddenly, you just open the tank and release all the energy, and then goes up. Okay? That's what's happening. And you would have felt it. Like if you're getting angry, okay? You're getting angry a lot, you'll start feeling like feeling tired soon. Have you felt it? Right? If you're having toddlers in your home, you feel because there is always going to be a difference of opinion. I don't know whether it will become older. It gets further. It gets further.
Yeah, older kids more.
It gets even more. So what does
But
it
when
take?
you burst, when you scream, after a while you feel okay. Like after you burst it out, you feel it's done.
So during the time when you burst out, there is a cause, something is gone.
Yeah, but after
So is that a solution? Is that a better solution?
I'm not sure. To say whether it's good or not.
But if you don't burst out, you still keep it inside, right?
That is even more
That
dangerous.
is even more.
That is even more dangerous.
Danger.
That is even more dangerous. Eventually, when you open out, it will become like a vengeance, right? It will become even like a vengeance, and then you will burst even further. It will completely break down. You will not even be able to close it back. Right? So takeaway is You want to kill someone, make them angry.
Yeah. It's okay to be angry.
So takeaway is, the key point you need to notice here is, right? What is anger by definition? You had a desire. We had a desire. And there was some hindrance to that desire. Right? There is some hindrance to that desire. And there is or you have some expectation. There is a difference in mismatch to that expectation. Somebody is not meeting it. Right? And now you still want to make it your way, get past the it. That is what is manifested as anger. So ideal thing is, first we need to understand that we have an expectation. We had an expectation here. Then the most important thing is we should have communicated that expectation. If we communicated that expectation, they agree to that, and in spite of that they miss it, then we can show it off. Right? Without even knowing that somebody has agreed to our expectation, without even knowing that quite often that happens in family. Right? I was expecting you to do this. How do I know? It quite often happens. Right? After even the first 2 years of marriage, we'll no, Sundar. So that is a very key thing. Right? At least to understand, acknowledge that we have some expectation. And then clarify that expectation and get the acknowledgement that this is what the other person is also agreeing. Then there is, if it is not matching, to make sure that, or to discipline that, we can act like being angry or act like forceful to get into that habit. But without that, screaming or sudden burst, you can get angry. But the cost is for us. This is what Thiru says. Sinam inum sevdare kolli, inam inum yema pune sudum. Meaning, in English, is anger kills the person who contains it, from where it starts with. Okay? Anger kills the person from where it comes, and also disrupts the entire relationship that person has with us. Right? This is from Tirupur. This is what it means. So it's still true, right? If you want to kill someone, make them angry. You can make them. What is actually happening
Or
is,
they can get rid of their anger and then get help by killing someone, and then they feel fine.
so thing is, when we get angry, we are committing a suicide to ourselves. Right? What we want, we are actually committing suicide to ourselves. Right? இது உங்க சாய்ஸ். கோபப்படும்போது வந்து நீங்க செத்து போயிட்டு இருக்கீங்க. நீங்க வந்து you are committing a mini suicide. Whenever you get angry, you are committing a mini suicide. You make a choice. I don't want to say anything. I'll tell you what is being observed. I'll tell you the physics. You take a call. This is
wasting a lot of energy whenever you get angry. Try to
you take a call. I'm not saying anything. I cannot advise you. So this is what happens when you get angry. This is what happens when you get angry. Okay? There is another powerful emotion. There is another energetic emotion. We have a lot of emotions, but this one is a very, 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 very powerful factor. Okay? There is another one. Okay? Sadness. Okay? Worries. The example, see? Worries. In Tamil, there is a different, that word means kavalai. Worry means kavalai. So, you know what that means? What is kavalai? No, what is the, there is other meaning for the term. How does that word arrive? How is that word So what used to happen is, right, during the farming days, right, when there is enough water in the wells, right, what they used to have a very small plank, right? If you just walk step down and then step back, it will easily take the water in and drain out. Right? So they say Kavalai is a device which is used to drain the water out effortlessly. A device to effortlessly drain the water out. The same word is also used to represent worries. Right? It's an act which effortlessly drains the energy out of your body. Right? What is actually happening? You had some expectation, right? You know that you cannot do it, or you have some expectation for yourself for nothing to happen, right? But you're not even taking any action to do it, but you want something to happen. You want it to happen, but it's not happening. I want this to happen, but it's not happening. I want this to happen, it's not happening. There is,
You keep thinking
you
about
keep thinking about it, you continuously keep training it up. You start seeing that people who get very soon the face will start getting wrinkled and always be seeing a very dull face because they'll not be having enough energy at all. Right? It's like putting a small hole in this tank. Okay? So even without you knowing that, you are leaking energy, you are draining energy, you drain out all this energy. So what is happening when you get worried? Okay? Okay? So what we should do? What is the takeaway here?
Stop worrying.
Stop worrying? No, you cannot stop worrying. Yeah.
Increase the
Close all the phones.
Yeah.
Close all those. Awesome. I like this.
fix your problem and keep worrying about
Right? Closing all the
state
holes.
measures too.
Now let's talk about closing the holes. Right? The thing is, we need to first understand that we are getting worried. That's the first thing. Right? And then try to eradicate what are the imaginary expectations we have. Right? We have some expectations and it's not met. If it is not fulfillable, let's take an action to fulfill it. Generally in Kayakalpam, we don't talk about this. Right? We'll talk about these emotions during introspection courses. During introspection is when we talk about this. We will have a separate 2-day session to talk about what are the frameworks there to how to handle anger, how to handle worries. We'll just reserve a day so that we'll think through it. Right? But then what happened is 6 months back, I had a Kayakalpam session, and almost 2 weeks back, 2 weeks after the session, I got a call from this lady. She's like, okay, after doing Kayakalpam, I'm getting super angry now. And that's what she's complaining. Like, I was going nuts. Like, how is that possible? It is not possible. This is the first kind of feedback I'm hearing this. After doing Kayakalpam, I'm getting more angry. And Vedantri Maharishi would have not given such a practice to make people suffer. Right? It's a very, very tested and very thorough. Right? The practice what we have now is gone through different iterations to be safe for anyone. Then we asked, how do you know that? How do you say that you are getting angry after doing Kayakalpam? After doing Kayakalpam consistently, I'm doing very consistent with Kayakalpam, but now this one I see that I'm getting super angry now. So what is happening is the same. I've asked her, is there a same event happening before and happening now? Yeah, it is the same thing, but now I'm getting very angry. Right? So what is happening is, earlier also there is a sudden burst of energy. Right? Now, after doing Kayakalpam,
It's more.
she has more energy to lose. Has more energy to lose. And then when there is a sudden burst of more energy, you can very easily perceive that your head is getting heated up. Right? You can very easily notice that you're losing it. Right? And there's no point, right? There's no point. By doing Kayakalpam, you get very high energy levels. But then, if you don't manage our emotions, whatever you will end up draining it out. It will not be for the fruitful purposes. We will not be able to use that to fulfill our goals and ambitions. Okay, but we'll learn more about all these factors in introspection courses. Okay? Now, since you talk about, so okay, in introspection, we can fix this gap. And then fix this sudden burst. At least you have a tool to, okay? If you still want to reduce the leakage, reduce the drainage, what else can you do? What else can we do? Another bigger energy usage is through thoughts, right? So briefly, if we close this, thoughts and sensory perceptions, right? We will get some increased energy levels, right? And that is what we do during meditation. When you do meditation, you are preventing the energy loose from the sensory organs, and we are not thinking about anything else, only at the energy itself. That's the reason after doing meditation, you feel like energetic. Immediately after doing energetic, you feel like fresh and energetic after meditation. But then once you start interacting with people, once you see emotions, that will drain out. If we know if you have become aware of these emotions, at least will start to increase a bit. What else we can do to reduce the expenditure?
Maunavara.
Don't talk at all.
Use the metabolism.
Metabolism, yes. Right? So body is functioning, right? The body is functioning. There is a machinery. That machinery is functioning. We need to make sure that machinery itself is not loose, right? So we need to make sure that the blood flow, heat flow in the body is strong. The channels are good enough so that we don't have any drainage. So in the body, we have energy flow, blood flow, all happening. If the pipe is broken, if the pipe is bent across, you will not have a very forceful water, right? And that's what we address during exercises. During the simplified physical exercise, what we do is we make sure the blood flow, heat flow, and energy flow to all the organs in the body is well maintained. Right? And we saw about meditation. Okay, metabolism also addressed. If you still want to increase the energy level, what can we do?
You can't.
Eat more.
So that's a
That's
very
a
risky
metabolism.
thing. You still need to spend increase the metabolism.
Increase the metabolism.
After a point, you need to increase the metabolism.
We can't cut down work. We can't cut down.
Yeah.
other things. So
Right? Why do you need to increase the energy in the first place?
because we can't cut down work.
No, why do we even need to increase energy?
That's why we have to use it for work and stuff.
You have to use it for work. Even if you want to listen to others, all the interactions and everything what we do is by function of energy. Any action, anything what we do is by expenditure of this biomagnetic energy, biomagnetism. Right? Anything. Sundara is not able to listen because he doesn't have enough biomagnetism. Right?
Oh, very good.
So இப்படிதான் சொன்னா அந்த டக்குனு வந்து போறோம் வந்து பார்த்துக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு நம்ம சொல்லலாம். Okay, so every action, our identity itself, or how we define the respect what we get is for the amount of energy levels what we have in us. Right? If you know to manage that effectively, you will be respected effectively. Right? Fundamentally, it's all at the very fundamental level. It's the amount of energy, how much biomass. So what else we can do? We've tried everything. What we do?
Should try to increase the energy level. That's the only.
How can we increase the energy level? So we tried all the strategies we had. If you still want to increase it, what else can we do? What? From here, let's see. From this principles, I think it will be much easier if we take a different analogy here. Okay? Instead of water, think about your bank account. Right? The tank as your bank account.
Spend less.
Yeah? That is what meditation is. Spend less is meditation is.
Earn more.
Earn more.
Eating more food.
That is what is eating food. Right? What else you can do to
Be more
To
efficient.
increase the thing, right?
Have
You
more
put in a
efficient
fixed
metabolism.
deposit, then you will get the interest.
if you want to still get more.
Make a fixed deposit.
Donate
Kind
more.
of
Donate
of
more,
way.
get more.
Yeah, that's a little advanced one. We'll get back to that.
Keep a lot of energy in reserve. Or like I said, fix it up.
So
Actually multiply, invest it, multiply.
invest it. Invest and multiply. Right? That's
Improve the efficiency of your metabolism.
increase the efficiency of the metabolism. How much you can do? You can make it 100% efficient, right? Which is like income outcome, right? There is no wastage in the work being done at all, right? There is only that much you can exchange out of the machine, right? Investments. Invest
Tell
in
that
something.
to people at work.
Let's send them in. Right? Invest or increase the capability. What does that means? Increase the capacity of the container. Increase the container's capacity itself. Right? Or increase the capacity of, you compress the water storage so that you can store the same container, you can store more. Find some technique so that you can quickly compress it and store more. Right? Then, in the same volume, you get to store more.
Water you cannot
So
compress.
that is analogy.
Uh,
Water you cannot compress. See, right? Or whatever is storing it, you can try to find something you can store more. You find a way to store more in the same container. Right? Then increase the water. Right? How do we do that? And if you want to, that is what is we learn during Kayakalpam. That is what is at the core of Kayakalpam. Okay? And to learn that and to understand that, we need to first understand how it is getting stored. This water, this energy when it is coming in to this container, into the body, right? There is a specific way in which it is getting stored. Right? If we understand that mechanism very clearly, how it is getting stored, right? How it is getting stored, then we can efficiently store more. Right? Okay? All of me? Okay? Any questions so far? Seriously? Seriously, no questions? Then I will start asking questions. How we?
So
How do you
summarize
compress
this.
and store more? That's-
Do you want to learn how to compress and store more?
Yeah, before that, the summary is that you're saying reduce the, the holes is through introspection.
Yes.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
The holes through introspection, we address it.
Yeah, that's
And through meditation also, meditation, introspection, we address the holes.
okay. So,
Right?
physical exercises. Do
Physical
more
exercise.
exercises or yoga.
Physical exercises, what we do is to make sure the pipe is not
Yeah,
bent.
it's efficient.
Make the machine efficient.
Yeah.
Make the machine efficient.
Introspection, meditation to conserve the energy.
Meditation is reduce expenses.
Reduce it.
And emotion introspection is also to reduce it. Reduce expression through the sensory organs is meditation.
Yeah.
Right? And introspection is sudden
Sudden expenses. Control the sudden.
Control the expenses.
Sounds good.
Major expenses,
Yeah.
right? Like making a family budget, right?
Exactly. End of the day, it's like that.
It's all
I can relate to that.
yeah. No sudden travels, no. Fundamentally in there. So now what we are going to see is what we can do to increase
Contain
the.
the thought.
No, let's not do that now. Please.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just send it.
Just send a message. Now we're going to do a very very important aspects. Right? So far we just had the preamble to the discussion.
Yeah.
The next 15-20 minutes is what the core of Kayakalpam is. Right? So I need your attention now. All your attention now. Okay? Let's. So we are going to understand how we are storing this energy. Go ahead, Manga.
Yeah. No.
Right? Alright. So what is this? What does it look like?
Tomato.
Like strawberry bar.
Strawberry.
Sorry.
No, எந்திரிச்சு வரல நினைக்கிறேன்.
From here it looks like tomato.
Doing a tomato chutney.
Okay? Okay. Then what is this?
That is a strawberry.
It's a plastic one, it's a real one.
Okay. So what else is the difference?
What is the question?
What's the difference between the two?
What is the difference between the two? This and this.
One is animal, another one is.
Body without soul.
Body without soul.
That's fake.
One is having energy, one is having.
You
One is
you
having
mean the
juice.
plastic doesn't have any energy?
Doesn't have the juice.
You can fill juice inside. Nobody's stopping you from eating, right? Right?
It's organic.
It's not natural.
What does organic mean?
It's not natural.
Bio, no synthetic pesticides. GMOs.
We'll go to the
And
derivation. If you
just
go
come
to the
from
derivation of the
farmers
word,
markets.
if you go to the root etymology of that word, then you'll be able to exactly answer this question.
Anything that grows naturally.
Anything that grows naturally, right? So what is the difference between this and this?
Artificial.
So even if you put fertilizer, it's okay, right?
It's artificial.
It still grows. What makes when we say something is alive? So the difference between the two is this edible strawberry. What is it? Is
It has a life.
it has a life? And when we say that something is having a life,
It goes through a natural process.
what is the natural
Cycle.
process?
Spoil after days, some days, right?
If you keep this in sun, this also will spoil. Our third standard biology. Difference between a living thing and non-living thing is what?
Cells.
Hey, there is cells in it.
Living cells.
So one of them creates energy and the other one does.
There is energy in it. Both has energy.
It can decompose. Like,
If you keep the plastic in sunlight, or if you put it inside the oven,
Transform from
it can also transform and decompose. You are coming very closer, actually.
What's the difference between
I did not like biology.
But still, you are alive, right? But still, you are alive. You should do something. I'm trying to.
so you need water and the sunlight for it to grow. Like that
the
plastic.
5 elements to sustain?
That is the key thing, right? We call something as alive. We call something as alive when it can assimilate energy and make it of its own. With that increased energy, it can grow further and then replicate itself. The thing which can assimilate energy, make it as itself, and replicate itself is a living thing. Do you agree with this definition? Right?
Come the figures.
Right?
Ask this.
Vastu Sariniya.
I knew we were going to.
Yeah. Okay? Do you agree with that? Anything that which can assimilate energy, and from there it can go further and replicate itself is called as a living thing. Okay? So we call that energy as life energy because it is what is differentiating it to as a living thing, as a living life. So we call it as life energy. Okay? This life energy is nothing but just basically charged particles. Life force are charged particles, and that is directly related with biomagnetism, magnetic field. Same over school physics only. Whenever there is a charge flowing in a conductor, perpendicular to that field, there will be a magnetic field around it. If it is happening in the body, it is biomagnetic field. If it is happening in the current conductor, it is electromagnetic field. That's it. Right? So this life force and biomagnetism are directly related. Life energy, life force, and biomagnetism are fundamentally directly related, interrelated components. Okay? Our basic school physics. Right? We saw what is life energy. Right? So now, in the body, we are alive. Right? We are alive. And where is this life energy?
Through the body.
Throughout the body, there is life energy. Okay? And it will be going in a flow. Okay? It should be stored somewhere. Right? Or whenever there is something is flowing, there should be some center. Or let's go back to our plant example. Okay? Let's go take an apple tree or strawberry plant. If it is storing the energy somewhere, right? Where do you think it will store most energy?
The roots.
Where?
On the trunk, the main stem part.
Right? Where? What are the parts of the roots, trunk, seed, leaves?
Probably the leaves. Like எதுல நிறைய இருக்கோ but tree ல வந்து நிறைய leaves இருக்குன்னா the
So
more
it's-
energy is saved there.
Maybe.
Probably in the root because it can at least grow.
The framework is right. So the part of a plant which it helps for it to prolong to the next generation is probably where it should have stored more energy, more life energy. Right? That is the way how it should happen through evolution. Right? If it is an apple tree, then it will be on the fruit. The fruits that help the seed to sustain further. Right? Right? If it is in the strawberry tree plant, it's in the fruits. Again, if it is in the rose, then it is at the stem. Right? Or if it is in any other way, vaalakkaka. So on a plantation tree, it's on the stem or in the rhizome. Potato in the rhizome stem. Whichever part that helps it to life sustain for the next generation, that's where probably most life energy is getting stored. It's just a framework. You think about it.
Yeah.
Right? If it makes sense. Okay. If the same thing holds good to us, by definition of evolution, by definition of energy storage in evolutionary process, where would we have most energy stored?
மூலாதார சக்கரம்.
In the reproductive cells. In the reproductive cells. Right? Right? In the reproductive cells and tissues. Right? And that together we're going to call as sexual vital fluid. Okay? So probably what will happen is when you're born, initially is there in the heart of the pineal gland. Right? And then as we grow older, there is more energy storage in the thyroid. then thymus, right? And then pancreas, adrenal. Eventually, by 14 years, most energy stored is at the reproductive organs. The hormones secreted by the reproductive organs, and that entire set altogether. Okay, that's why I say by only by 14 years that when all the endocrine system is completely grown, right? When the reproductive system is also completely grown, that's the onset of puberty. Onset of puberty. Okay, that's the reason why we teach Kayakalpam only after someone has either reached puberty or 14 years old. Right? So, if we want to store more energy, what do we need to do? Make that storage denser. Right? In that same volume, whatever is getting stored, we need to make that store more. Seeing a lot of silence. Okay, let's see another example. Right. Let's say when we say that somebody is dead, we'll take it this way.
Heart stops beating.
Have you seen people with pacemaker?
When the body is
Very
lifeless,
When your energy there is no energy flow.
then the body is lifeless.
When we stop
There
breathing,
is
When
no-
you say
when you stop breathing,
you can use the pump and push, right?
Maybe
CPR go, right? After for 2-3 hours or after 2-3 minutes, probably you can do CPR and then resuscitate, bring them back to life.
Then the soul goes away from the body.
How do you know that?
it's
Or when does the soul goes away from the body?
And there is no more life remaining.
What is
in the-
soul? So it should be in the verifiable terms, right? Whatever you say, it should be verifiable.
Yes, all your body organs stop functioning.
When does the body organ stop functioning?
when the blood
Right? Everything decays over.
When, what makes it to decay?
because there is no blood flow.
Blood flow, there are cases where you take the entire blood out of the body, then they pump new blood. Right? Blood transfusion from out there.
Okay.
There are different elements of life, but that is not a conclusive way of saying that somebody is
can't
alive.
process energy anymore.
when there's no biomagnetism,
When there is no biomass, when will it happen? That is like when you are dead, there is no biomass.
We don't
That
have
is
touch.
that is the effect. That is the effect, but it's not the
There's no
cause.
charge producing.
Right?
Coming
So
back.
say this example. If you see this example, will be இப்பதான் நம்ம பார்த்தோம் where it is stored. We say most energy stored in the
Reproductive.
reproductive sexual vital fluid. Right? More energy stored in the sexual vital fluid. When that is not there in the body anymore, from India, or at least in south of India, right? We used to have this practice. When somebody is dead, after they're dead, they go and wash the body. Take bath. You know why? You know why? We don't care like when the person is alive. Why do we care when before we go and cremate whether he took bath or not?
Make sure that the person is really dead.
How do we make sure? Right? That is what is
the vital fluids actually come out of
comes
the
out of the body. The sexual vital fluid comes out of the genitals. That is the clear mark of somebody's dead. At least in India, we have this other cultural thing. Generally, it's the barbers who go and check, who go and give bath. Right? Why does barbers need to do that? There is this cultural thing where at least 300 to 400 years back, they are also the people who are giving medicines. Before medicine came as a profession, before that came as a profession, they are the ones who was also giving this. So what they do is, during and the body is there, while they wash it, they verify that the sexual vital fluid is completely oozed out of the genitals. And that is a clear mark, that 100% mark that somebody is dead or not. Someone is dead or not. Right? I was thinking that this happens only in India. And 3 or 4 Kayakalpam back, we had somebody from Iran. He was also saying that they have the same procedure after the death to give back to the body. Okay? But nobody knows that this is why they do it. We do that in exercise, but in modern practices, it has become a tradition which is getting followed without knowing reason why. Right? So this is what is exactly happening. Right? So okay, what if somebody is dead before they are 14 years old then? According to this theory, then they cannot even die, right?
Yeah.
You should be asking me these questions. Since I asked, then you need to answer them.
So even at the time, the suicide energy is there somewhere, right?
Yeah,
It's not like it's gone anywhere. Body.
there is energy in the body,
Yeah.
right? And if someone is dead before 14 years, you will see little SPF, sexual vital fluid, getting withdrawn. Still, there will be more liquid discharge through eyes, nose, or ears. Okay? Some liquid discharge is kind of. In modern medicine, they just say that because of pressure, difference in pressure, the body fluids comes out. They just say that. But fundamentally, this is what is happening. Right? So, what typically happens when someone ages and die is, right, in the body, we have a complete flow of biomedicine and life force. It's always evolving in the body. Okay? And when the energy, when it comes back to the sexual vital fluid, it gets recharged. It's like a circuit having a battery in the circuit. The sexual vital fluid is the battery. When it flows in the body, it comes to the battery, get recharges, increase the potential get increased, and then flows back with a higher force. And as we grow older, the density of the battery gets slower and slower and slower. It cannot even sustain the flow. Then we naturally age and then
Okay, this is for natural death. What happens if somebody doing suicide or something?
Good. Finally, good. If somebody is doing suicide, what is happening? In the body, there is a complete flow of energy. Okay? And let's say the energy flow is there. And if I'm just stopping the flow here, or if I'm tying a knot in the hand, right? First, the hindrance, it will be perceived as touch, right? Hindrance to the biomagnetism flow is perceived as sensation, perceived sensation, touch. And it will, the energy flow, the biomagnetism flow will obstruct it and go further, right? But it is even further. It is strong. You cannot complete the circuit. Then you will start seeing like a pain. It is even harder, even stronger. It is not even, the force is not strong enough to get past the blockage. That is what is diseases. That is what is a diseases. The flow is strong. Right? And the part itself is cut. The part itself is cut. It is not, and this is essential for it to contain it. So there is a, whatever is flowing here will continue to flow in that part, right? And if it is an essential part of the circuit, it will continue to flow back and continue to drain further and further and further. You drain it. Even in that case, they say that SPF will get released, right? If some there will be conditions where even before the completely with the force, it will try to complete the circuit. Then at thinned out SPF will be loosed out. There will be conditions where if it is a very essential part of the circuit in the central nervous system, right? And there if it is getting cut, right? And happens very fast that it will not even be able to move out. Right? That kind of happens when in explosion or within accidents, within seconds or within a fraction of time, you cannot even put the yeah?
So that time also the sexual vital fluid will be released from the body.
So within seconds, the circuit itself is not there, right? All the body parts itself will get torn out, right? You will not even know that what is going to happen there. If it is contained there, it will not be able to hold it. To hold it in place, you need to have a complete circuit. If the circuit is not there, then you will see it. Right? So, another takeaway from that. What is aging fundamentally? You have it's more like a car battery, right? After usage, the battery's capacity will slowly thin out, drain out. After a point, the battery will not be able to provide sufficient potential difference to the entire circuit. Then after a time, you need to, it's gone. At least in car, you can take the battery and put another battery. In cars, you cannot do that. It's all integrated part of the circuit. And how do we charge this battery?
The whole thing.
We didn't say about it. How do we charging this battery? Where did we talk about that? We talked about we need to increase the energy storage. Right? This is getting stored in the SPF. We found that energy is getting stored in the SPF. We found it. Right? How it is getting in? So I'm asking about this process. How it is getting? Basically, the biggest input is food. The food we consume, or let's say if I eat this strawberry or apple, and it has 10 life force particles, assume, right? And from that, it gets mixed in my digestive juice. Right? From my digestive juice, from the 10, 9 of those life force particles are getting absorbed. Right? And gets some of them, 9 of those is getting distributed in the digestive juice. Right? And the density of that is little lesser. Right? And then further, it is getting absorbed into the bloodstream. From the lower intestine, it is getting absorbed into the bloodstream. So some energy, life force, is there in the bloodstream. And from the bloodstream, it goes into the flesh in the body. Right? And from the flesh, it goes into some of it is getting absorbed in the bones. Then in the bone marrow. Then brain. Finally, there is as it goes further and further and further into the next level, the level it goes further, the density of the energy storage will be higher and higher and higher. The amount of energy stored in blood will be lesser in compared to the amount of energy stored in brain. The next highest, densest form of energy storage in the body is called as Ojas. OJAS in Ayurveda. Right? The Ayurveda is the medicine, they call as Ojas. The densest form of energy storage in the body is called as Ojas. Okay? And in the body, the sexual vital fluid upon puberty contains the highest amount of Ojas. Before puberty or on birth, the pineal gland contains the hormones in the pineal gland contains the highest amount of Ojas. That's the reason our grasping capability, mental capabilities are very high when you are a kid. Right? And slowly, the most energy storage comes down to the respective part. Right? And by 14 years, there is a reproductive glands contains the most amount. Okay? So now, if you want to, what is our goal now? Our goal is to increase the energy storage. You want to make sure we can store more Ojas in the sexual vital fluid. Right? Any questions on this? If you don't get this concept, then there is no point in doing Kayakalpam. Get it very, very clear. Very, very clear.
So this SVF that is there, we get at the time of birth and it grows. So it grows because the body grows through all this food, and how does it becomes more and more?
So that's an evolutionary mechanism, right? It's like a fruit growing. It's like a fruit growing. Initially, it is really small, and by mechanism, if you consider evolution as the process in which an organism contains energy or assimilates energy, contains it, and to that is the principle of evolution. That is what is life. That is what is evolution. That's how we're seeing it.
So at 14, if it is 100, and if you maintain it at 100, you will be like immortal. Probably.
Yes. That's what I say, that if you never get to expense the sexual vital fluid at all, and before you get to lose it, if you find a way to recycle it within the body, one will be live forever. Example is Valla. Right? This is Vallal Peruman. I say that it's going to be a little off the topic. He was believed to be related with Vedatri Maharishi. He lived 120 years before Vedatri Maharishi was there. Right? They say that he never died. His body, he get into a light form, they say, but in government evidences, there are proof that he entered into this room, and the room was locked for 3 days. And after 3 days, when they opened the room, he was not there. And what happened in the room? And the room was sealed completely. This is there in Indian government gazette document in 1970 something. Sorry, 1870. Right? And how does it happen? And we don't have the. I have not come across someone who has repeated that. Who has not repeated that. Because by the time we learn about these practices, we would have spent enough.
And the body aging process will also use the SVF.
Yes, right? Aging is basically we'll use it. So we lose the SVF. The biggest way we lose the SVF is during sexual activities. Right? Not abstain from sex. Right? I mean, I myself have a family and I have kids. Right? It's not like, but we need to understand what is the limit and method of utilizing it. Our goal is not to. We all don't want to become like immortal. At least we want to be alive until we want to fulfill our dreams, our goals and accomplishments. Right?
And live healthy.
Live healthy. Until we are alive, our body has to be in our control. We should not fall sick and we should not become a burden to others. Do that, for that purpose, how to maintain our body, how to maintain our health, that is known. And the way to do that is to maintain limit and method of this, how the expenses are done. So another bigger expense here is sexual activities, right? Or expense of sexual activity. Right? There is a limit and moderation that needs to be pursued. Okay, so the goal is what? Now we know that it is getting stored in sexual vital fluid, right? And our goal is to increase the density of the sexual vital fluid, right? All with me?
So what is it for with women then?
Yes.
I don't know.
So in Tamil they say as Vindhu Narasakti. It is not just semen. Sexual vital fluid is a function of all the hormones, right? And the ovarian liquids and ovarian fluids secreted together. Right? Even women, if you take the logic of puberty, it happens only after 14 years. When all the other endocrine glands are grown, only after that we will see the ovarian glands growing. Right? Sexual vital fluid is a function of the secretions from ovary progesterone, estrogen, all the hormones together, and the cerebrospinal fluid, all together, they see as an entity as SPF, not just the semen. That's what in Tamil they say as Nadasakti. Vindi Nadasakti. Okay, good question. Thank you. Any further questions? And another thing is, it is not just sexual intercourse that's where we lose. Even the thoughts, that's also will result in drainage of SPF. Okay? You will see the differences, what is happening in the body. When in a similar thought, you see the other hormones are getting changed. Eventually, there is a sudden burst of, or there is a higher energy expense which is being done to have this perception of sexual pleasure. Right? Any questions? It has to be very clear. So, what is the goal of Kayakalpam? How are we going to increase the energy?
By increasing the density of the SPF.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay? Alright. This is a good time to take a break. Right? So now we'll go on so far. No questions, sure, super.
Okay, if you increase the energy, right, the sexual thought will increase, right?
No.
Automatically.
No.
Yeah.
Then how it will control?
That's what we'll learn now. That's what. Okay. We'll have a 2 minutes break. Okay. So if you want to go use the restroom, let's use that. Don't drink water. Okay. And those who are not using the restroom, take a notebook. In the notebook, if you want to take a pause, go ahead. Go ahead. In the notebook, in your book, from the behind, there will be a declaration page. Yeah, start with filling this page. And at this point of time, we are going to stop the broadcasting. If you have any questions, you can send me through WhatsApp. We can discuss about that. All right? Well,